So, Victor, what's the most important thing for this company this afternoon?
I think it was definitely the international subscriber numbers. A lot of the data we've looked at, a lot of the data I've seen from other providers as well, and as well as from the buy side, suggested that the international subscriber numbers came in weaker than expected. However, though, I think the numbers have come in quite significantly, both the buy side and sell side numbers. And so the bar is pretty low and entering into the print tonight.
Sure.
So it's possible that Netflix could outperform in both the third quarter number as well as the guidance this when they report.
Victor, why are people picking up on this international weakness that you mentioned?
Well, you look at international data tracking data that actually shows that, some of the data I've looked at have showed that there's some sort of maturation of growth in several international markets, the big ones like Germany, the UK, France, and Spain. So I think that's been reflected there. But the point I want to make, though, is that even if they beat numbers tonight, beat lower numbers and enter it into the print, and you see some sort of a relief rally for the stock, I think it'll be short-lived because I don't think investors, I think, should not be obscured by any sort of relief rally, because I think it's there's still several negatives to this business model that I think will keep the stock at bay over the next year.
Well, I mean, the biggest negatives would be the competitive streaming service, Julia, and we don't have a lot of details about those services because they simply haven't launched yet. I mean, we know the pricing, but in terms of the offerings and exactly how they will do, we're sort of in this vacuum of information. So Netflix can post great numbers, but forward guidance, I mean, I don't know how much stock you'd put into that.
Well, this is really the calm before the storm, Melissa, because that's why that guidance number will be so interesting. And also any commentary that CEO Reed Hastings provides about competition. He has not shied away from the topic of competition. He'll talk about different rivals. But I think what he's likely to say is something he said in the past, which is they're not just competing with other streaming services. Netflix has always been competing with television and with all forms of entertainment. So I think it'll be really interesting to see the commentary just as much as that Q4 subscriber guidance number. But also in terms of the international piece, the reason that is so important is there is a sense that the U.S. market is saturated, and that's why there is so much hope and focus on that overseas growth.
Victor, how does a company forecast or model fourth quarter subscriber numbers in an environment in which we don't know whether these competing streaming services will gain a lot of traction? Would you believe those numbers?
It will be difficult for them to forecast. I think for the fourth quarter, it should be fine. It's really, the first quarter of 2020, as well as, the second quarter of 2020, when you actually see the impact of Disney and Apple and maybe some other competing services coming to market. So that's when I think near term, you wouldn't see as much pressure on subscriber growth from the competing services. I think this is more of a longer term, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years out. That's when I think you'll see pressure on the subscriber growth from the competing services. You'll see also upward pressure on marketing spend, upward pressure on content spend. But that's just one of the issues that they're facing. I think, Netflix right now is a hit-driven business. And so what that means is that, I think they should be valued like a hit-driven business, which is, high single-digit EBITDA multiples to mid-teens, as well as the fact that, the pricing power in the domestic market is essentially gone for them.